So, let's see if this works. We've got an account with a hosting provider called VidaHost. Highly recommend them. They're a great company, very cost effective. There's lots of others out there. We've used one called Heart Internet in the past. They're very good as well. Nearly all of them will come with this kind of control panel type facility. And you can see down here under Soft Oculus, there's a number of technologies. We specialise in most of these. You'll find that they're nearly all open source platforms. And the first one, unsurprisingly, is WordPress. You also have Joomla and some online shop type platforms as well. So I'm going to have a go at installing WordPress now. Just go to install. There's a lot of pre-populated information here, which if you download the software, you have to configure manually. You don't have to worry about that. It pre-populates it all for you. All I would say is take a note of the username and password, jot it down so you can come back to that at a later stage. And also this in directory, that's the name of the folder where your blog will be installed. So by default it's giving you the folder name WP. I'm going to change that to demo for the purpose of what I'm showing here. See if I can memorise this. Username admin and password pass. Hopefully that's it. Usually the installation takes under 30 seconds. It's very, very fast. Having not tested this on the network here, there's a possibility it will trip up at this stage really. I'm hoping it will work. Yeah, there we go. So, like I say, on most internet connections, this is a very fast process. Usually happens in under 30 seconds, as that has. And then once it's installed, it tells you the URL of the blog that's been set up. So the first one I'm going to pull open is the front-end view. This is what people can see through the web browser. So if anybody was to go to the blogging for business domain currently, this is what they would see. Standard theme that comes with WordPress, no blog populated, it's very basic. The other URL that's presented is the admin login. So I'm pretty sure that was, I've forgotten already, was it? Admin and pass. There we go. So I'm logged in. What I'm going to do now is a series of steps really. And I'm going to go through quite a lot in the space of about 10-15 minutes here, but hopefully you'll get the gist of how easy WordPress is. So the very first thing I'm going to do is install a new theme. So the one that comes with WordPress is very basic. Unlike most blogs and content management systems, WordPress is incredibly powerful because you can search for and install everything through WordPress, which is absolutely fantastic. So if I go to install themes here, it's very configurable. You've got a whole range of options from colour through to style. You can search for keywords based on the type of theme that you're looking for. I already have one which I found the other night, which I quite liked. It's not the most exciting theme, but it is a responsive one, which means it automatically adapts itself to different screen resolutions and mobile devices. So out of the box you get a blog here which will work pretty much on any device. And I'd always suggest, if looking for a theme on WordPress, to try and find a responsive one. So the one I'm going to install is this one by a company called Cyberchimps. There's lots of others, but this is the one that we decided to go for the purpose of today's seminar. And that's it, it's installed. You might have even blinked and missed it. It was 2 clicks, it's installed, it's really that straightforward. So if I go back to the blog and hit refresh, there you go, straight away. The theme's installed, and you'll notice as I resize the page, can you see how everything's resizing to fit the resolution? Even the menu, as you go down, has changed to a mobile-friendly menu, which will work on your iPads and your iPhones. So very, very powerful. The next thing I'm going to do is install what I would call the basic set of plugins for WordPress. WordPress is powerful out of the box, but it doesn't come with certain things you might expect a blog to come with. So the very first thing I'm going to install is a plugin called, if I can find it, it's a social sharing plugin basically, which I would say is a standard feature of any blog. There's lots of them available. This, again, isn't the most exciting social sharing widget, but it does the job. It's very quick and easy to use. I'm going to click install, then activate. I'm going to install a second plugin, which this one basically replaces the standard editor that you get with WordPress. So if I go to the posts option here, which is basically where you publish your blog posts, and click on the one that comes as standard with WordPress, you can see you have a kind of Microsoft Word style editor here, but it's very, very limited. You've got bold, italic, bullet points, and that's about it really. There's not even an option for headings. So straight away, one of the very first things I'd suggest doing is install one of the more advanced editors, and one that I like is the Ultimate Tiny MCE editor. Again, I'm going to install that. And activate. Now if I go back to that blog and hit refresh, can you see how the editor's now changed and you have something that resembles Microsoft Word? You have an option here for paragraphs and headings, you have an option for inserting links and tables and all sorts of different formatting options that you don't get as standard. You also have the option to flip to text mode, which basically lets you put in HTML code for those that are a bit more advanced, which can be very, very useful. Finally, the last plugin that I'm going to install is one called the All-in-One SEO Pack. There are others. This might not actually be the best SEO plugin out there. It's just one that I'm familiar with and I happen to like. It works very well with WordPress. And it gives you a lot of control over the metadata on your blogs, basically where you would put the keywords. And again, that's a course in its own right, really. So I won't go into much detail on that side of SEO, but I will show you how that looks right now in the blog. So again, if I hit refresh on this blog post page and scroll down to the bottom, you can see there's a whole new area on the post which wasn't there previously, which lets you put in your title, a description, keywords, which basically is how your blog post will look in Google and other search engines. And it even gives you a nice little preview just here so you can see how it would appear in Google. So, what I'm going to do very quickly now is basically add an unoptimized blog, really. It's a part of the presentation that we're going through today in Microsoft Word. And the great thing about WordPress is you can copy straight from Word into WordPress, usually without much trouble. It's nicer if you go through Notepad because you don't have any of the horrible word code that gets copied across. But this does work, and usually you just have to do a few clicks to tidy it up. So I'm going to try that again. I'm going to copy the contents, go back to the blog. I'm going to paste into the wrong place. Let me go back to the visual editor. I'm going to paste in the content from Word. You can see it's more or less copied the table over. There's a few bullet points missing here. So you might have to go and manually enter a few bits when trying copying and paste. But generally, the large majority of things will copy across. There's a few line breaks too many. There's no real formatting, but it has included the bold. I'm going to click up to that update. And as standard when publishing a blog, I would suggest adding a category. So I'm going to add a category. Let's call it blogging. Add a new category. I'm going to untick the default, which is uncategorized. You can add a few tags down here. So those keywords we came up with, blogging for business, how to blog, and the various other keywords you come up with. You can add them as a comma-separated list, and then you can see here that they've added just below. So if I go up and tick update, go back to the blog, you won't see the post because this particular theme doesn't show posts as standard, which is a bit unfortunate really. So there is one extra step in the process that I need to do to show the blog and how that appears, and that's to go to widgets. So if I go back to the appearance option and then widgets, you can see here down the right hand side are all of the areas or the blocks that come on that theme. So If I go back, you can see there's a home widget 1, home widget 2, and home widget 3 block. And you can see them listed down the right-hand side here. So I'm going to use the home widget 1 box, and what's lovely about WordPress is it's all drag and drop. So if I can find it, there's an option here called recent posts. I'm going to drag that over to home widget 1, click save, go back to my blog, hit refresh, and now you can see the blog post which we published is showing up there. I'm going to go back to the post because it doesn't appear to have updated for some reason. I'm not even sure it's saved for that matter. Right, it's good. Basically what's happened is I haven't entered a title there, so what I'm going to do is copy that heading, and I'm going to put that up here, update, go back to the blog, and now there's a label which is a little bit more meaningful there. If you click that, it takes you through to the unoptimized blog post. You can see that tags are down here, you have the category at the top, and also it puts in the breadcrumbs as standard, which is a nice little feature for search engines, and you have a very basic looking unoptimized blog. There's a couple of extra steps that I'm going to demonstrate very quickly because they're very important for SEO. You'll notice that the URL at the top there isn't a search engine friendly one. It's out of the box. WordPress gives you these horrible kind of question mark p=1, which has no meaning. It's not search engine friendly, and it certainly doesn't help your SEO. So what you have to do is enable a feature in your blog called permlinks, and again that's very straightforward to do. If you click permlinks on your post, and then select post name and click save, then go back to the blog and hit refresh. Can you see now that it has a search engine friendly URL? The other thing I'm going to do on the blog post is basically usually there's an option to override the URL, which doesn't appear to be there at the moment. So let me hit refresh. There we go. So by just deleting the hello world and then clicking OK, it will automatically generate a URL based on your title at the top. So if I click update now, go back to the blog, we've got a search engine friendly URL based around the title of the particular blog that we're publishing. The last thing I'm going to show is one of the widgets I installed was a social sharing plugin, which you'll notice as standard can't be seen on the blog. The reason for that is you have to go to the plugin and enable these the social networks that you want to be shared across. So you can see here this one gives you a very limited option really. You've got the main social networks. I'm going to tick Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn. Go down, click save. Go back to my blog post, hit refresh, scroll down to the bottom, and there you go, there's a social sharing widget that will let people share on Twitter, Facebook, and the various other networks. So hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. We're really only talking about 1 or 2 clicks. It's very straightforward to do each of the individual parts.